In a city where even train stations represent historical monuments and landmarks in their own rights, it comes as no surprise that the rainy capital of the world has plenty to entertain its visitors with, even during lockdown. I will start the list with the obvious COVID-friendly locations. The parks! The Regent's Park, St. James's Park, and Hyde Park are only some of the most famous ones. Take a stroll down the lake in Hyde Park, do some people or bird watching, have a picnic, and read a book. When there isn't a lockdown, there are a few coffee shops around, and you can pick up some hot chocolate and savor it on the bench overlooking the water. The park leads me to Marble Arch, the next historic monument on the list. This 19th century white marble triumphal arch was popular in Europe during the time when it was built, and similar landmarks can be found across the continent. Can you name a few? At Marble Arch is where Baker Street starts. The building we're looking at right now is Selfridges, the famous department store. There's even a good Netflix TV show about it. Contrary to popular belief, Baker Street is populated mostly by mainstream stores that can be found in most shopping centers. So if you are looking for a shopping spree, know that you can buy your favorite Zara and Primark clothes from here as a souvenir. But of course, not while the lockdown is in place. Next up on the list is the famous Trafalgar Square, named to commemorate the Battle of Trafalgar from 1805 and the British victory in the naval engagement fought by the British Royal Navy against the combined fleets of the French and Spanish navies during the Napoleonic Wars. This is where you can also find Nelson's column, which commemorates Admiral Nelson, who died in this battle. Next one on the list is Buckingham Palace. Although due to COVID you will not get the chance to witness the change of guards, you can still see Buckingham Palace from the outside and take a selfie in front of the most famous residence of the country. This is not just a residence though, but it is also the administrative headquarters of the monarch of the United Kingdom. It is now time to focus on what you can do outdoors in London's most famous neighborhoods, and since we're on this topic, we're going to start with the most famous one of all, Notting Hill. If you ever opened Instagram, you're probably familiar with the colorful houses and may have heard of Notting Hill Carnival. Although the carnival was cancelled due to the pandemic, Instagram wasn't. You can still do sightseeing in this neighborhood and take a few snaps. Notting Hill has an interesting history. Although it is an affluent district in West London today, and although it has been associated with artists since around 1870, things didn't always look so bright for this picturesque neighborhood. For much of the 20th century, this was known for its slum housing. Find out more about it in my Notting Hill video linked above. Another iconic London neighborhood is London Bridge, home to the Tower of London and Borough Market. This area is a beautiful fusion of old and new, comprising of modern and slightly quirky office buildings, as well as medieval and Victorian landmarks. The most famous landmark in the neighborhood, and probably the second most iconic in the country, outnumbered in popularity only by the Big Ben, is the Tower Bridge, which is sometimes, but I would say often, confused with London Bridge, which is about half a mile or almost 1 kilometer upstream. If you have enough time on your hands, you can wait around until the bascules are raised to allow ships to pass. Next up on the list is Covent Garden, which is renowned for its luxury, fashion, and beauty stores, as well as for award-winning restaurants and theaters. Yummy! It is also home to one of London's most famous Christmas markets. The most famous landmarks in this area are the outdoor food markets, as well as the Royal Opera House, Theatre Royal, London Transport Museum, St. Paul's Church, and the Freemasons Hall. Sending slightly different vibes, but just as famous, Camden is famous for the Camden Lock, one of the most popular markets in the world, and for its hipster feel. There are loads of historic buildings to glance at, as well as delicious cuisines from around the world to try at the market. And if you can't visit Italy due to the pandemic, let Italy come to you in London. Little Venice, with its beautiful canals and waterways, can be found just to the north of Paddington Station. This picturesque neighborhood comprises of quirky waterside cafes, pubs, and restaurants, and it is perfect for a walk while socially distancing. Which one was your favorite attraction? And which one would you want to see next?